coating. It's a beautiful day, everybody. We had that blizzard yesterday. So, a little bit of snow out there. Not bad though. As you can see, I have a huge jumble of a mess. So what I'm doing now, I am going around and sanding. See all them lines? Those lines right there are what show them big cookies when you paint over it. If you sand it to where there are no lines, you see over there, just a little bit, it's kind of faded, but there's still a little bit of line. No, that's all faded out. See how that's like feathery and that's a very sharp, distinct line? Well, that means that it's built up too much and the eye will catch it and it'll look just like a pancake. It'll look just like a cookie just got thrown at your wall if you paint over it. So what we have to do in situations like that, here, I'll get you. Much better. Make sure I didn't mute it. Turn this light off. Okay, you can see it. So now, this is a 100 grit sponge sander, right? It's not brand new, but it's a newer one. What I do, now I've done this for years. This right here is my bread and butter. In the winter time, this right here feeds my children and pays my bills and keeps me ahead of the ball. Okay? So what I do, I throw most of this into the center and I'm pushing a little, somewhat moderately, on the paint, not the drywall. Right? And I'm just going to let it feather itself out. See how I just throw this, the rest of this just feathers itself out. And I go outside of the line and I'm just teasing that line because I have my hole filled. I don't want to suck any more mud out of what I filled. It'll blend in with the paint as long as I remove those distinctive lines. And inherently, as I keep going, you see, it actually sands that flatter and gets it flatter and flatter. And as you keep turning around the circle and doing little, I like to do little circles. You can do the wax on, wax off. I don't like to do run lines. I like to do little circles because the eyeball will catch lines. It's the whole point of this exercise that I'm teaching you. You don't want to push on it so hard that you're pulling the mud out of where you put it though. Because you're already scraping that mud flush, right? When you put the mud on, you're just wiping it off as much as you can. See, and now you can't really see a very distinctive line there. It's just cloudy. And what that will do is when I paint that, all the dust will get blown away with the sprayer because it comes out at 2600 PSI. You see how it's kind of cloudy now? And that paint will just blend in with it. And you will not see a distinctive line. Same as that, that's all blended. This up here was really bad. But this should be blended, but it's not. You see that little distinctive line right there? So that's got to get done. So this is what I'm doing. I started a job, I want to finish it before I get into another job, right? I want to at least catch myself. I want to at least catch myself up. Just to make sure that I know exactly where I'm at with the mud before I move on to another spot. Sometimes Sometimes it takes, moving on. Sometimes you have to, because you're not going to wait for one. Sometimes you have to put a lot of coats on something, and it is what it is, right? It makes you a better mudder if you take your time and make sure every single, you don't even want not one cookie on your wall. If you have a cookie on your wall, a real painter or a real mudder would take the time to sand that down and feather it back in with 3 coats of mud. And it's just 3 skim coats. You're like literally wiping it off. But yeah, the proof is in the pudding. Once you get it done, you realize, whoa. And then I just do little circles. If it's built up to a little too much, I don't want it built up that much. So I'm just going to do little circles. And that's blending that edge in, right? So I'm just blending the edge, blending the edge, blending the edge. That was built up quite a bit. Really, it's because whoever painted this last had a lot of paint on their roller, and it left a super heavy, thick texture. So this stuff is like trying to flatten it out like a nice even path. But once my sprayer goes over it, it should make it all pretty even for the most part. Okay. So I will have quite a bit more like sealing to do, but right now I just want to get I want to try to attack the mud. Let's just get the mud out of the way. Get my walls back to where I want them. I like to go high. Start high. Worst first. What's the dirtiest job you got? Let's get that out of the way. That way, as we go, we're going into the lighter and more easier stuff to do. And it basically, it's a reward program. It set yourself up for happiness. And it makes it easier and easier every day. Now, some of these are just little tiny, small, little, barely even a hole to fill, and that's fine. You can just nice and easily do circles there and it'll come off. But if you have long lines, any distinctive straight line, you're going to want to mud that out. And like I said, light circles, apply pressure to one side of this long thing, and let the middle, always let the end of this that you're not touching, the feathered most upper edge, float around whatever you're doing the whole time as you're pushing here and doing circles. Now remember, this edge is angled for a reason. It's just like a painter's brush. They give you a 45 so that you can get into angles and get into corners, and that's what I'm doing here. Remember to like and subscribe. If you don't mind, it will really help my channel, and it's free for you, and then you guys can see the updates on this apartment as I go. I know a lot of you have already subscribed, and I appreciate you keep coming back to watch this apartment grow. It's been quite a journey for me. It reminds me of when I first started my company. I wouldn't hire anyone for 2 years. I did not hire a soul. Maybe someone to shovel the driveway out or grade off 2 or 3 yards of loam or something for a client. But I never, ever hired anyone till like the 3rd year, and I realized, okay, there's way more demand for me. If I hire more people, I'll be able to get more people's work done. And really, it wasn't about the money. It was just that I was getting so many calls, I couldn't fill the demand. So I hired more people. And then I figured out that I was pretty good managing people. You know, really good at managing a calendar, sticking to deadlines, and making sure that I was there at that date, or I was calling them ahead of time to let them know if I wouldn't make it that day or whatever. So I was really good at all that, and basically it got me to where I am today. But over the course of the last 20 years, really, I took a lot of different leaps for myself, leaps forward, and I only moved an inch, but each one, after 20 years, you know, you've got yourself 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7 feet away up the ladder that you're looking to climb. It's like a baby that is learning to crawl. They're not going to learn it all in one day. Right? They're just not going to. They'll figure out how to roll. They'll figure out how to lift their legs. They'll get the strength on their arms to hold themselves up and their head up. And then they'll start to wiggle and realize that they can move their body forward if they wiggle and kick. And then all of a sudden they're able to lift themselves, keep themselves up, and then they can start crawling, and then they're everywhere, right? So that's the same thing with me. I had to learn how to crawl before I could even walk. Now I'm learning to walk, and can't wait till I can run, I tell you that. But yeah. So basically, doing the drywall just reminds me of when I first started the company, because I did a lot of it. I did a lot of drywall my first few jobs. Drywall and paint, a lot of interior and exterior. So, let me see here. All right, so you see these distinctive lines? We're gonna feather these out. And you see, I'm not really pushing on the actual line. I'm pushing over here, and I'm letting this happens all the time in sanding mud. I usually keep an extra one in my pocket. But as you can see, this place is a freaking mess because I have so many different jobs I have to do that I basically got boned up, got ahead of myself one day and just started bringing material and tools in that I shouldn't have. But I had to figure out every material that I had because we changed the plans a lot in this build, and in the bathroom and the kitchen, really everywhere. So the stuff that I had originally got to finish this house wasn't either enough of it or just something different totally. So I had to bring everything in, get it all out, and figure out what I had. It took me a couple days to even figure all that out. But I got it done. I got the material yesterday. And now I'm just coming back trying to catch up on what I was fiddling with while I did that over the last few days. So as you can see here, that was a scar. You see that little scar right there, that long running scar? So now that's filled with mud, and it won't look as bad of a gash, right? Okay. And I had to mud around this. I had to mud around that. That was a big inch gap around there. So that was quite a bit. You see, and people think that this is, oh, that's easy. I could do that. Well, that's the thing, though. No one wants to do it. East Hockey. Hit. Hi, how you doing, East Hockey? I've never seen you before. You must be a newcomer. If you like and subscribe, you can catch up on my build, and you'll be able to see me live every day working on this house. And then once we're done with this job, I'll move on to the next job, right? We're gonna get it done, little by little. So right here I had a big crack in my drywall, so I carved it out. And on a repair like this, I use polyurethane, elastomeric poly, and I dig it out, get all the crust out, fill it as deep as possible with that adhesive. Loctite Power Grab, 0 second. I use the white. If I'm gonna paint over it, use the white, don't use the clear. The clear won't allow the paint to sit. It'll get all fisheye and translucent clogged together, like mercury, right, or vinegar and water. Hey, this is my puppy Odin. My big boy. Yeah. Come on. Come, Grace. Come. Good boy. He wants to come hang out with Dad. So right now, I have to see where I'm at. I got a lot of bubbles in here. This was a big fill spot. I had to fill it out. I didn't use the paper, the corner paper. I should have, but I didn't. So now I'm shaping. This is shaping. It's a little different than feathering edges. So I'm just feeling where the bumps are and getting them off. Making sure, I'm removing the bumps. There it is. So, let me get all the dust off this. If I were to paint this right now, it would have a bunch of little dimples. It would look like the craters on the moon. A bunch of holes. So what I gotta do now, I have to come through with some really soupy mud. And the great thing about today is I am done filling all of my big holes. So every crater, every gash, everything is all done. And today I can put that last coat of mud. It's almost soupy enough that where it doesn't even want to sit on the trowel. That's how wet it is. And you whip it really good with the wand on the drill, and you get all the air out of it. And that's what I'm looking for. So right now I'm just feathering this little dimple out. I think it was a screw hole or something. As I went around and got the big stuff over the doors, I, would catch, some things would catch my eye, and I just hit them. No sense to leave them, but I gotta make sure that I get every single one, because if I leave the feather, if I leave all those lines around remember those circle lines? If I leave those, it'll look like someone laid a pancake on the wall and painted over it. So that's the basic thing. People think that when they just mud it, it's okay and you can go over it. Or some people, even I, forget. Hey, baby. Tinkerbell. This is my fiance. She's my love. Channel activity added. Okay. Managing standard. Can review and remove chats. Can manage blocked words and change chat modes and live. There we go. All right, so she's gonna keep the trolls away. Sean Grant, what's up? Yeah, so this right here, this door came like this. When I put it on, it wouldn't undo this. And I tried like hell. I should just take it off and put the gap over there. But it's already over with. It's done and over with. I'll fill it. No one will even know it was there, and I'll paint over it. And it'll look just like wood once I paint it. So you see this here? That right there is like a mud holiday. Right? Okay. Yep. All right. So I got that off there. Okay. So now we can sand. All right. Is that room done? Now you can see I went around and sanded some high spots with my orbital. And I did that when I went around and made sure this bottom was flush for my mop board. Got any extra screws out of the way. Stuff like that. That looks like a literal hole right there. So now I'm just checking around, making sure we're good. And that closet beautiful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I really plead with you. It'd be awesome if you could watch and join the chat and learn how to build. I did all this myself. Yes, that door is probably in better shape than all the other ones. I kept the fan on it, and I had it out like this. And I had that fan half and half, and that dried it out really well last night. Just like that. Yeah, the other side's still good as well. So, thank God, because that was a friggin' mess. It was a mess, I tell you. A mess. So, where are we? Where are we? I got a hole right there, a hole right there. So I'm not done completely with mud. It's down here. Okay. See these lines? These are the lines that you gotta sand off. But remember, you're just putting pressure on the, see how that line is here? I'm putting my pressure here, and I'm letting this do the work. And I'm doing circles. And I'm going around the whole thing, and I'm just barely